KFG weather overview. This is the number of consecutive days with max temperatures below 32 degrees in Central Park. The max temperature. And I think we're going to easily make the top five on this list. The biggest year, the big kahuna, is 1961. So from January 19th, 1961 to February 3rd of 61, the temperature stayed below freezing for 16 consecutive days at the park. I think that we have easily a chance to make double digits. I don't see the 32 degree mark being attained in the next 7 days, and I'll show you on the weather underground forecast in a minute. But we are in the grips of a very cold air mass, and it's only going to get as cold or a little bit colder as we go on in time through the next 7 days. Some slight moderation by Wednesday and Thursday, but then we have to watch and see if a winter storm tries to develop for late next week, and I'll show you all the particulars as we go along. I wouldn't bank on that, by the way, but it's just a possibility, but hopefully in the discussion you'll see what I mean. So this was Noah. Like them on Facebook and Twitter. Here are your temperatures. Now for New Year's Eve at midnight, I think it's liable to be the coldest New Year's Eve at midnight in Times Square, easily since 1996, and in a worst case since 1976. Those are two big bopper years in terms of cold temperatures and also in terms of snow. We remember the infamous 1996 blizzard, a lot of people in my generation, and 76, 77 was a brutal winter around here across the tri-state region with many cold shots and many chances for snow. I don't exactly know how much snow fell in that season, but it was quite a good one, definitely above normal snowfall. So if that's a harbinger of things to come, then we are going to see a pretty rowdy winter around here. So we'll see our next snow chance if we go from IntelliCast over to Tropical Tidbits. We will be dealing with some light snow on Saturday. This will make travel slippery, especially in the afternoon hours and especially across Long Island. So for southern and eastern sections of Long Island, we could see 2 to 4 inches of snow. And elsewhere, I think it'll be 1 to 3, including the city and the metro and the rest of the metro area. Less amounts as you go north and west. And here we are by Saturday as this little storm system scoots by to our south and delivers snow for much of the day, I think, but in a light accumulation. And there'll be a lot of fluff factor with the snow because temperatures will be in the 20s all day, as opposed to the snow that we got in early December on the Saturday, where the temperatures were kind of like near the freezing mark, so we had a more wet snow. This will be a more fluffy, powdery snow, and it'll basically stick to everything. So it'll give you a nice coating. But that's it as far as storms are concerned over the next 5 to 6 days. Now, I wanted to take a look at the long-range weather picture because you're probably asking yourself, when is this cold going to snap? When are we going to get out of the cold snap, so to speak? So here we are by Wednesday, next week on the European. This would be January 3rd. Now, the European, I think, is the more reliable model in the long range, so in a general sense. So that's why I'm showing it here. Now, there's going to be a storm that tries to form along the Gulf Coast, and what it does after that point is basically anybody's guess at this point. Now, today's run of the European developed a massive winter storm across the tri-state area. Now, I wouldn't bank on that yet, but the overall message is more important than whether we get the storm or not. And the message of the European is that the cold is here to stay, and it's going to have some staying power well into next week and into the weekend of the 7th. So that's the message I would take from all this. I wouldn't really worry about the snow threats quite yet, especially for late next week. Obviously, Saturday, I think, is a done deal. I think we will get that light snow event for Saturday. But you see the snow icon on Thursday. I wouldn't worry about that yet. We'll fine-tune it as we get closer. But the overall message is that we will not see the freezing mark in the next 7 to 10 days. I would say that that's a very strong possibility at this point. I think that a return to freezing temperatures, the 32-degree mark, is something that is way off in the distance right now. And we are looking at one of the coldest New Year's that we've had in quite a number of years.